that thank, that bless and thank the Lord that they get a job, and you need 2 jobs or 3 jobs to pay any bills, to live on your home. So what do you have in the black community? You got a house with 10 people living in the goddamn house. You got a house with 3 generations living in it. How many people can you fit in grandmama's house? Goddamn. Jesus Christ. You, your sisters, you don't get along with her. You and your sisters in there, all her kids. Your uncle, he's crazy. He molests the kids, but what can you do? He stayed up in the room. He was telling kids, don't go in the back room. That's where the uncle's at is going to molest you. So your kids got to play in the house, but don't never go in the back room. And you can't leave nobody alone in the house with him. So somebody always got to stay in the house with Uncle Ricky. Because you got 3 generations of people living in the same house. Why? Oppression. That's why. That's why everyone lives in grandmama's house. And if you ever wanted to know, is America better? Here's the best way to understand it. Who raises all of our children? Grandmama, raise your hand next time. Now, grandmama was young when and thriving when? Back a long time ago. Why can't the daughter raise the children? She's the one that's around now and young now. Why does this old lady raise the kids? Whose house do we live in? Grandma's. Why doesn't the daughter have a house? Or the son have a house? You know, we're under this myth that life is better now. If life is better now, why is it that the old people are who we live? And the daughter would be raising the kids. Or the son would have the money. But you live in a house. They were doing better than us, these kids. We don't have the discipline to raise kids. Nation has the discipline to raise the care when the person raised today in being a lesbian to raise her own kid. With all of our heroes of all of our black, where's the new people that we revel in? Where are they at? Where are the new people that we got a new Benjamin Banneker. We got a new Marcus Bruce, people like that. Because the world is up good black people. And that's why the Black History Month is about people who grew up during General Cabal.
They were segregated in ghettos 20 years or what have you. So, and under the Greeks with him, you understand? And
the same thing in the land of Goshen and the rest of Egypt. And we grew men who could build. They are in the Israelite school of the university. Why? In here. And in that culture, you can grow something beautiful with the enemy's devices.
Right.
But if you're looking for heroes, you're looking back to the 50s and the 30s. That's where you're going to go. If you want somebody to raise your kids, get somebody that grew up in the 50s and the 40s. Because a young woman today can't stop whoring to raise a child. And a young brother today can't stop getting high to raise a child. You're going to have to come into the UPK where we create a culture that is not America, but is Jerusalem.
Right.
We make it Jerusalem in here, and the goddamn, and 3,000 years ago. We make Jerusalem in the time of King David. And we create that environment, and that environment makes heroes.
That's right.
Anything else here?
When we cried unto the Lord God our fathers, the Lord heard our voice.
Read that again.
And when we cried unto the Lord God our fathers, the Lord heard our voice.
That's what happened in Egypt, brother. He cried to the Most High. What you doing? Voting for your freedom? Who you gonna vote for this? Who's the mayor down there? Some of the governors. Who cares?
They say he was married for like 45 years out here.
I'm sure he was.
Come on, concert.
Who cares? Go ahead, Al.
I just realized that to hear, it's us that don't want to segregate, that don't want to be segregated.
Mm-hmm.
It's the cultures that are really change now.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, they're forcing themselves to be segregated.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's their churches every Sunday, whether it's their neighborhoods, so they're putting out way in the woods here, way deep in the woods. You ride down the road 3 miles, it's nothing. You look at you open up to a whole land of prosperity. So yeah, it's like us, the culture of blacks here. They want.
Okay, well let me give him a hand because he's telling the truth. And that culture is no different anywhere else. There is nowhere where black people don't want integration, right? Give the brother a hand, right? Check. Now, let me blow your mind with this though. Let me solve a problem for you, right? Why don't black people want segregation? Why do we prefer and desire integration? Then I'll need my precept for it after that. Because on its surface, right, it seems stupid, right? This is a restaurant, right? What's the name of this restaurant?
Hannibal.
Hannibal, give him a hand, man. Hannibal's restaurant, that's where we are tonight, man. A black-owned restaurant. Now, a black owner, a black entrepreneur, would he want his customers going to a white restaurant? Is that something that you like? The only problem with my restaurant is that black people come here. I wish black people went to McDonald's and went to Burger King. I don't like that I got all of these people in here who can't go anywhere else but here. I don't like that. I'm a black construction, I'm a black carpenter. You know what I hate? I hate having all of these black people come to me and not going to Home Depot. I can't stand it. I wish my customers would shop somewhere else. Tell me, brother, do you wish black people would go to a white place? Would you like to see this place filled with black people who cannot eat anywhere else but here? So when I think about that, I go, who in the hell really wanted that? Like, hold your point, was there a black pharmacist?
Yes.
Who had tons of people coming in to get his drugs, to get his aspirin, his medicines, and his cures that said, you know, I wish these people would go to Walgreens and Rite Aid. I would think if you asked him, he might say, I don't want nothing integrated. I want my people to come here because here's the problem. White people are not going to come to that black pharmacy or to the black restaurant. White people ain't going. The only way he can survive is if black people have no choice but to come to him. So then I gotta ask myself, who in the hell wanted it? Who was all running out there marching about that and demanding for black people to not support their own businesses? Whose idea was that? Who wants to blow my mind with the answer?
Martin Luther King.
Thank you, give him a hand.
And check it out, man.
Please.
What's interesting is right down the street here, this big old building right here is called the Cigar Factory.
Mm-hmm.
Martin
Get him on the camera somewhere.
Martin Luther King's wife, Coretta Scott King, when they had killed him, she took over. And she
took over the cigar factory.
She took over leading our people.
Shalom.
So when the nurses couldn't get anybody to get their raises at this major hospital, MUSC, Coretta Scott King came here, and the song "We Shall Overcome" was created right here at this cigar factory, where she led a parade to get money for the black nurses. So when Martin Luther King said, don't go to just black businesses, go to the white businesses. And then right here, right where you at, right across the street, Coretta Scott King came and kept doing the same thing that her husband was doing. So now we don't support blacks, we support whites.
Give him a hand. It's so true and sad at the same damn time. But it is the absolute truth. So then you realize something. You didn't want integration. Preachers did.
Yeah.
Preachers wanted it because preachers were the ones who would get rich. There was no way any other black person could benefit from it other than rich black people who now wouldn't be forced to come to your restaurant. The rich black people that come here every day and eat your food, who's sitting there every day saying, "Well, I wish I could eat at that white restaurant. I got so much money, I can afford to eat at the white one.
Right.
But I'm forced to eat here." He couldn't stand coming here. You understand? He came here and could not stand it because he was rich and he could afford to go to Beverly Hills. But he had to come to your restaurant. And they motivated children to fight for something that they could not use, that it would never benefit them. And it's impossible to even think it could benefit you to lose your customer base. Now here you are today looking at the black colleges saying, why won't somebody help the black colleges? Nigga, didn't you ask for the black college to lose their students?
Right.
I thought you marched so that they could go to a white college. Now you're crying, saying black colleges need help? I guarantee that the professors in the black colleges and the deans were like, integration? What the hell are you talking about? My classrooms are filled and I'm paying my bills with being a college professor here. You're telling me that my best students are now going to go to white colleges? Well, how will I have a job as a professor?
Right.
How will I eat if my best and brightest students go to a white college? I wonder who wanted it. Yeah, the brother just told you who wanted it. Martin Luther King. And preachers like him, General.
I'm trying to figure out.
Well, before you say that, Cabal, let me hold the precept on deck. Give me Matthew 23, Jeremiah 23, General, go.
Come on. Why didn't white churches get integrated? Since white businesses were now able to be, you to run up in there and spend your money in there, how come you didn't get a chance to go and go to all the white churches? Why was you stuck with the pastor, you understand, and you didn't go into the white churches and there are no more black churches? That might have done us better. That might have done us a lot better if black churches would have goddamn peace.
Give it a hand. I wish we could have saw it happen. I wish we could at least saw it happen. But the only thing that got integrated is the best of us went into their work. Our brightest students, our most skillful workers, those of us who were geniuses and inventors and innovators, we lost the best of who we are to them. And who's left? The people that can't afford to go live in a white neighborhood. The people that can't afford to eat at a white restaurant, they're the only people that can come to eat in a black restaurant. That's it. That's what we're left with because they took the best of who we are and preachers asked for it. Which I've thought about this many days. I don't know. I'm too young to know what it was like, but I can see how some poor brother from the hood is fighting in the 60s to go to a white restaurant that he can't afford to eat in. So I don't get it. I don't get how I want to eat here. All right, $50. Hold up, I ain't got that. Well, then why are you marching? If you don't have the money to go to this white school, why are you marching to go to the white school when you can't afford it? What's the rationale behind this move? I know, preachers. That's the rationale. Preachers with music and big, powerful speeches who talk like this and tell you things like that, and with a band and with flowers and with hypnotism. Before you know it, you're singing, "We shall overcome," to get rid of your own customers, your own students, your own school. Give me my precepts, please. I gotta go. Matthew 23.
23 and what, sir?
23 and 1.
23 and 1. Matthew 23, first verse. Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
Not right there. That's an excellent one, but I don't have time. Give me beware the scribes and Pharisees, which are hypocrites. I don't have time for nothing. I got something else I got going too. Preachers are evil. Am I making my point here?
That's it.
I got about 10 minutes of time. Preachers are disgusting and they're evil, and they're the reason that the black community is the way it is. You can fault every black preacher for Dylan Roof, for integration, for the black neighborhood, for crack cocaine, for the pills, for the heroin, for the poverty. All of it you can lay at the feet of your leaders who are black preachers. I pray you understand. Now give me Genesis 4:12. Tell me what that says.
Genesis.
No, give me Matthew 5:3. Captain the car, you here? Matthew 5:3. Let me tell you where we at right now.
Matthew 5:3. Blessed are the poor in spirit.
Now stop. This is Christ, right? You know, as you know, tomorrow we're going out in the street. Where will we be at tomorrow? Who knows?
Selected. That was
the
corner. The corner we're gonna be on.
I was pointing at East Bay and South Market Street.
Tomorrow we will be at East Bay and South Martin Street. Market.
Yes.
We will be at East Bay and South Market Street. Now I thought where they had a slave market.
Yes.
Well, it's called Market Street. Right? Hold on, put the thing back up. I forgot the damn slavery. Right? We will be at East Bay and South Market Street, which of course is why there's a Market Street in every city, because that is where the slave market was. Right? Please, quickly, go ahead, brother.
This is the largest slave market in America now.
Give him
The largest slave market in America.
Number one. Largest slave market in America will be on that street tomorrow. Say the name again.
East Bay Street and South Market Street.
East Bay Street, East Bay and South Market.
This is in front of the slave market and the U.S. Customs House.
We'll be speaking out there tomorrow. Okay, good. Okay, let me get this before I forget. I was reading this earlier, right? Let's read this. You remember this when you go to look at the pretty fireworks tonight, right? This is from 1836, and this is a flyer like the largest slave market in America here in South Carolina. This is a flyer. On this flyer it says, "I have for sale 10 likely young Virginia and Carolina Negroes," meaning he's not sure where they're from. They're either from Carolina, North, South Carolina, or Virginia, for which I will take New Orleans acceptance at 6 or 9 months. Among them is a very superior cook, a good cook, a good plantation seamstress, meaning she can, she can sew up the clothing for the slaves, right? A good plantation seamstress. You can refer to V. Michael Mitchell, Esquire, cashier, Bank of Mears, Barksdale, and McFarrell at something hard. And what was the date of that slave sale? They had that on the 4th of July, 1836. So as white people are celebrating what they used to call Flag Day, which is where this idiotic holiday comes from. It comes from the worshiping of a flag, first of all. It's idol worship. Originally, it was just Flag Day, where everyone just idolized the flag, worshiped the flag, sung to the flag, pledged allegiance to America, to the flag. They pledged allegiance to the flag because it is an idol, a god. And then Flag Day grew once people started to not want to just be naked idol worshipers. They had to change it, what it meant. It was for the kids then. It was for this, and it was about freedom and this and that. But they celebrate. But this is 1836.
So we come.
It was after 1776,
So we come.
right?
So we come.
And they sold slaves on that day.
Right.
On that day. And here you are, their children. You're the children of that seamstress. You're the children of that cook. And you are celebrating it? Shame on you, man. Shame on you. You are a terrible son and a terrible daughter if you celebrate the 4th of July. Come on.
I was about to say that was exactly 60 years after 1776.
60 years. Imagine what that must have been like. All right, I gotta go. Give me the last one. Give me Genesis. I'm ending it with this one. Genesis, what I want? I think 4 and 12. When the Most High is speaking to Cain. Who has it for me? Nice and loud.
Genesis 4 and 12. When thou tillest the ground.
Stop. Go. Give me where is thy brother? Where is that at? Right, maybe 10. Try 10.
Verse 10. And he said, what hast thou done?
Stop. Okay. You want to say something?
Where's that brother starts at 9? So it's like it.
Verse 9.
Okay, stop right there. Let me give you some context,
Some
right?
context.
We're going back to the original crime. The original murder. 90 million black people were murdered just during the time of slavery. I'm not even counting the people that Dylann Roof killed. I'm not counting the people that the cops killed. I'm not counting every person who ever died or went to prison because of crack cocaine. Because if you did, that was engineered by a white man and the United States government and Ronald Reagan. And there's a TV, I saw a TV show about it. And I said, this is common knowledge now. This is something we used to teach. Right. That Ronald Reagan sold drugs in America because the Congress would not give him money to fight a guerrilla war against Russia in South America. He wanted to give his side guns because the Russians were giving their side guns, but the Congress wouldn't give him money. Because he couldn't get the money from Congress, he sold cocaine and then crack once they made cocaine more inexpensive to the poor black people. And with that money, all of that money made its way to South America to buy guns. And there's a TV show called Snowflakes. Get him a hat. What did he say again? Not snowflake.
Snowfall.
Snowfall. Good enough. Close enough. Snowfall. And I said, well, damn, you mean everybody knows this now? We used to teach this. General YAHANNA taught us this back when it was happening in the 80s. Before I was only in the truth in the late 90s. But when I came in, the brothers in the school taught this. Now there's a show about it. If your father went to jail on drugs, it's because the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
If your mother was a crackhead, it's because the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
He is the author of your misery.
That's right.
He is the reason for all of your calamity. Him. And it is evident before everyone. Well, I'm going back to the original crime. And it's when Cain killed Abel. When Cain killed Abel. Before that, no one had murdered, man. It was unheard of. Murder. Remember, we were such a small family.
Right.
Such a small family. And then one of them murdered his brother. Murdered him, why? Because God loved Abel and did not love Cain. God accepted Abel's work and did not accept Cain's work. And Cain couldn't have a world like that, where God is with his brother and not with him. Cain couldn't have it. Cain couldn't have God on your side and not on his. Cain killed his brother over that. Over that. The Most High said, give me a sacrifice of lamb, a blood sacrifice, and I will accept it. Abel killed his sheep, gave it to the Most High. Cain went and picked crops from his fields and gave it to the Lord. And the Lord did not accept that sacrifice because he wanted a live animal sacrifice. Cain refused to give up his land, his sheep. Why? Because they were too expensive, because they were his, and he wanted them. So he gave them wheat. You know, right now the white man worships what's that garbage called? Matzah. matzah crackers. That's a holy grain to Jewish people. Because in the beginning, Cain gave the Lord a grain instead of a lamb. The Lord was not with Cain, and he preferred Abel. Cain could not have Abel survive another day, knowing that. So he waited until he was privately with Cain when no one was around. He was walking and talking with Cain, and he killed him, and he hid his body. And then he went back like nothing happened. Right? That sounds familiar, right? He went back like, God bless America. This is the home of the free, land of the brave. Forget about the past. Forget about slavery. Forget about your family. Let's act like no one got killed. Right? Let's act like no one died. Let's blow the firecrackers and act like no one was murdered. That's what Cain did in the beginning. He did that back then. And this is what the Most High said to Cain. Read, please.
And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel, thy brother?
No, did you read what has thou done? Oh, so if I missed it, please.
And he said, what hast thou done?
He said what? He said what?
What hast thou done?
He said what?
What hast thou done?
He said what?
What hast thou done?
That's what the Most High said to Cain. What have you done? What have you done? What have you done? The thing that you accept from white people, the thing that you think you should just forget about. When it happened, the first one, the Lord said, what have you done? Read.
The voice of thy brother's blood.
Hold on, stop. General.
Skipped a little bit
What did he skip? Go ahead.
in the middle of 9.
Read the whole thing in 9 again, please. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not.
You
Am
hear
I
that?
my brother's keeper?
You hear that? He said, the Lord asked Cain, where's your brother Abel? I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? Who knows what that means? It's disrespectful. It's arrogant. It's like, hey, where's your brother at? I don't watch him. I ain't the one that, keeps him. I'm not the one that makes sure he stays home. Why are you asking me where my brother is? Am I my brother's keeper? That's arrogant. You got a ton of lip, just like white people today. A ton of goddamn mouth. Keep going.
And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
This is one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible. Because this lets me know that what happened to my grandfather won't be forgotten.
That's right.
And what happened to my grandmother won't be forgotten. And what happened to those brothers and sisters that had to be sold into slavery on July 4th in 1836, they won't be forgotten. The brothers who went to jail and were shot by the police, they won't be forgotten. And you know why? Because the voice of your brother's blood cries unto me from the ground. You can forget about slavery. You can forget about the death of your people. But your brother's blood is screaming to the Lord from the grave. Not from the church, because the church is singing. Not from the ballot box, because you've been duped and fooled to get into there by your preacher. Not from the crack house, not from the bar, not from the bedroom of some homosexual or somebody's woman, but from the dirt, from the ground. Your brother's blood is crying to the Lord for justice. For justice. Read.
And now art thou cursed from me, from the earth.
And now art thou cursed from the earth. Why? Because Abel is in the earth. Because Abel is in the dirt. So now I want you off the dirt. I want you gone. I don't want you walking on the bones of the people you killed. That's not right. You shouldn't get to walk up and down here all the time in South Carolina. You shouldn't be able to walk up and down the street all everybody. All right? It shouldn't happen. And the Most High is going to give us justice. He's going to do it. What we will have to do is stop smoking weed.
Right.
And stop molesting children. And stop lying and stealing. Stop it. Stop it. Stop being a drunk. Stop being a drug addict. Stop being a homosexual. so that God one day will look down from heaven and hear your blood screaming to him for justice. Who's the guard? With that, pass the class to police captain and call him around.
We have I.S.U.P.K. 125th, all the way up on the commanding general YAHANNA.
Slack, y'all. Speak up a little bit.
Come on. We are the I.S.U.P.K. out of 125th, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA, rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the class, they are off limits. For 6 months, they are to be saluted on. They are here to share themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which a brother or a sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, a brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tongues, which is a commandment. You can find it in Numbers 18 to 21, Malachi 3 and 8 through 10. Means tent in the Hebrew. Mahayaman. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or a teacher. Priest fund, a free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. Check the social media. Check the I.S.U.P.K. Facebook and Twitter, YouTube. I.S.U.P.K. Intimate material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, which includes boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarf. With that, I'm gonna say, Mahayaman needs to stand. Everybody needs to stand. All right. So, one courtesy salute. Mike Shabbat, Mahayaman, Barak. Shalom. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. So, Simon, the turn face assistants. Mahayaman, Shabbat, Mahayaman. Barak. Since y'all can repeat after me. As the top class is this. I'm trying to make it bigger. Yes, sir. All right.